911. Where's your thing?
I came over to my friend's house and she's not answering the door, and I went around to the back and I just see someone laying there.
We have some breaking news right now.
They didn't say their name. They said two 27-year-old women were dead inside the house, and I see my daughter's car and then Melissa's car.
These victims were close friends, they were roommates, and they died in a very tragic way.
People ask me, have you forgiven him? No. Who would I forgive? No. Can I let it go? No. I'm here. I can't let it go until they make an arrest.
You're listening to True Crime Arizona, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
When you think of a white Christmas, guaranteed you are not thinking of the Arizona desert. And that's fair. But what a lot of people may not know is Phoenix and cities around it like Scottsdale and Glendale go all out with impressive Christmas lights and decorations. It's a really festive time in the valley and comfortable enough weather to go enjoy holiday parties both indoors and outdoors. The holidays can be a catch-22 for some people, though. It's a time of love and joy, seeing loved ones. But that's not how it goes for everyone. For those dealing with loss or heartbreak during the holiday season, it can feel even harder.
The fact that you have to deal with this every year around the holidays, I can only imagine that just compounds the grief.
Yeah. Oh, I don't celebrate Christmas anymore. I mean, I don't put up a tree or anything like that. I just can't. It's too hard.
It's been a difficult road for Rachel Glass, a devoted mother, because loss has been a part of every single Christmas for 12 years.
You don't want to be the sad sack around people, so I have to suck it up and, be the best that I can be. Put yourself in my shoes. What would you want? You'd want justice. Step up, do the right thing.
It was early December 2010, and everything seemed to be going well for 27-year-old roommates Nicole Glass and Melissa Mason. They had been friends for years and were living in a house near 42nd Street and Thomas in Phoenix. Rachel says her daughter was thriving and happy.
Everything was good. She had no issues. She was going to college. She's getting a degree in communications.
Rachel was at home watching the news on December 3rd, 2010.
We have some breaking news right now.
911. Where's your thing?
I just came over to my friend's house and she's not answering the door, and I went around to the back and I just see someone laying there.
A reporter and photographer were at a breaking news scene, a double homicide, and the camera showed the home where it happened.
They didn't say their name. They said two 27-year-old women were dead inside the house, and I see my daughter's car and then Melissa's car. I didn't get the call. I saw it on TV.
In fact, Rachel didn't get any kind of call or notification from authorities until hours later.
They didn't tell me until the next day at 3 o'clock in the morning that it was my daughter and Melissa.
Both of them dead? How? And why?
Both of these victims were close friends, they were roommates, and they died in a very tragic way.
At the time, detectives were just as confused, and the cause of death only complicated that even more.
Detectives do know that the cause of death was strangulation on both Melissa and Nicole.
Police say there was no forced entry to the home and all the doors were locked. They aren't sure if the girls were targeted or if this was random.
As the investigation began, friends of Nicole and Melissa gathered with candles that night at the home. There were tears and a lot of hugs.
We don't know what to think right now.
We haven't really been given any
We've been
information.
sitting around asking ourselves questions since, all night, all day.
As the search for a killer or killers was underway, Nicole and Melissa's moms held a press conference with Phoenix PD. On top of an already tragic situation, there had been a new heartbreaking discovery by Melissa's mom.
Going through her things, I found this as her pregnancy test, and She was planning on letting me know on Christmas. Not only they took her life, but they also took my unborn grandbaby. She was the most wonderful daughter any mother can have. I couldn't ask for a better one. She was so excited about becoming a mom. Now all we have is memories.
This only fueled everyone even more to find out who did this to these two women. When you think about the fact they were strangled and there was no sign of forced entry, it leads you to believe this crime was intentional, that it was maybe somebody these girls knew. Rachel believes they may have opened the door for somebody.
Was there anybody that you could, were they having issues with anybody?
Not that I know of, you know. Her friends described Nicole. They said she was the most upbeat person. She was a go-getter. She's really positive about the future. I mean, she had a lot going for her. So, you know, for somebody to come in and take that all away, I want justice. I won't stop until there's justice, so I'll be here every year until they make an arrest.
When Rachel says, "I will be here every year," she's talking about a specific place. Not the home where her daughter was taken far too soon, but a parking lot just behind Chase Field in downtown Phoenix where the Diamondbacks play. Along that parking lot is a large digital billboard with a picture of Nicole and Melissa, a number to call Silent Witness to report new tips and information to, and an updated reward for information, now increased to $13,000. It's in this parking lot I was able to talk to Rachel and ask Brian Bauer with Phoenix PD some more questions. He's the Silent Witness coordinator.
Was there any DNA left if they were strangled to death? No fingerprints on their bodies, was that tested?
So several items of evidence, including DNA, was collected and tested in the lab. We just haven't gotten any positive results, and all the results have been inconclusive.
So you do have a DNA profile? Like, is there an unknown person's DNA that was found on their body?
So as far as the exact DNA evidence that was found, I can't go into detail because this is an active case.
But Rachel confirmed to me there was DNA found at the scene. And if there are no matches yet, that means this suspect isn't somebody already in jail or prison and in the CODIS database system. I've covered several true crime cases now that have been solved years, even decades later, by forensic genealogy. I asked Rachel if that's something she's interested in.
It's a possibility. I mean, I'm open to any possibility. Calling a tip, DNA.
There's also another question in play. This is billed as a double homicide, but with Melissa pregnant, is this technically a triple homicide?
And it is considered a double homicide. We understand Melissa was pregnant during this act. That's really a lot of the questions for the county attorneys to work with when we have a suspect in custody.
So there's a chance if an arrest is made, that person could be charged and prosecuted with 3 counts of homicide instead. While DNA is solving cases left and right these days, Rachel Glass and Sergeant Bauer are hopeful with an even larger reward, somebody will talk.
In time, people get a little loose-lipped, and maybe somebody had said something, and they have $13,000 they can get, through Silent Witness. It's the reward, so I'm hoping that somebody will step up and do the right thing. I mean, we need people to do the right thing these days.
When you're a tipster for Silent Witness, you are totally anonymous. Any tip will help. Even the smallest, most insignificant thing that you may have can lead the detectives to really figure out the entire puzzle.
What strikes me now is that in 2022, there still seems to be 0 clues really about any of this. Unanswered questions in 2010, still unanswered in 2022.
Do you believe that this was an act by somebody they knew or a random act?
So as far as the motive of a suspect, that's again something that we're trying to understand. We weren't able to identify any witnesses that were there during the incident, and that normally leads us to what that motive is and again who that suspect is. In this particular case, we don't have that information.
You have to commend Rachel Glass. Despite a frustratingly long time with no idea who did this to her daughter and why, she stayed passionate and committed to helping solve this case all these years. Nicole Glass would now be 39 years old.
It's tough. It's tough. But I will do it because she's my daughter, and she's the one that taught me to be a mother. And my love for her is still strong and boundless.
To Rachel, that unending and unconditional love is the best gift she has each Christmas.
What do you think your daughter is thinking, looking down, knowing that you've spent the last 12 years fighting for her and have not stopped, no matter how long time goes on?
I always hear her voice in the back of my head going, "You go, Mom. You go, Mom." Yeah. She's one of my biggest supporters, so I love that about her.
Rachel is firm in her beliefs, which haven't changed since the day she learned of her daughter's death.
The death penalty would be fine with me. When people ask me, "Have you forgiven him?" No. Who would I forgive? No. Can I let it go? No. I'm here. I can't let it go until they make an arrest.
I've reached out to a successful DNA company about this case, who's been solving many cases by advanced DNA sequencing and forensic genealogy. They confirmed they've reached out to Phoenix PD about this case to see if it's something they could partner on to try and solve with this advanced technology. We'll keep you updated if that comes to fruition. In the meantime, if you have any information about the unsolved homicides of Nicole Glass and Melissa Mason, you can go to silentwitness.org and click Submit a Tip or give them a call at 480-WITNESS. All information and tips will remain anonymous. True Crime Arizona, the podcast, is hosted by me, Brianna Whitney, and produced by Sergio Hernandez. It's a production of Arizona's Family, 3TV, CBS 5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.
This is True Crime Arizona, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.